Welcome to In the Workshop. This is steaming a Stuart Twin Victoria plant, but it's on the kitchen table, so it's not exactly in the workshop. But thanks to Norman, who sent me this wonderful plaque, clearly states it's the Mainsteam Models Workshop, so this is staying here today at least. Thanks Norman, I really do like this. It's going to take pride of place in the workshop and you'll see it in future videos. I'm pleased to say that recently I bought this complete steam plant from one of my customers. I assembled it in the first place and I really liked it when I was working on it. There is a full video series about the building of this plant. What I'm going to do is steam this from start to finish and show the process. The first thing to do is to fill the water tank with water. What kind of water am I using? Water from the kettle that came from the tap. I live in the north of England and where I live it's a soft water area, so I don't suffer from limescale in the water. With the water tank filled, I'll quickly show you what I'm playing with here. This is a Stuart Models HB6 6-inch diameter gas-fired boiler, and feeding this with water is a Southworth Engines large duplex boiler feed pump. This is quite an upmarket steam plant. It's complete with a condenser oil trap that I built myself, and this condenser has a good capacity so it doesn't need emptying that often. On the steam turret, on top of the Stuart HB6 boiler, are various things. One is obviously the pressure gauge, then there's the main valve to allow steam to the engine. Also fitted to the steam turret is a whistle valve and of course a whistle, and the tap on top with the piece of pipe sticking out of it is so you can put compressed air directly into the boiler. And that's in case you run out of this stuff. This is butane-propane mixed gas, and in this clip I'm fitting the canister to the gas valve. I'm using quite a long silicone rubber pipe to supply the gas to the burner, and that's a good thing because the gas canister can be miles away from the flame source. Before proceeding any further, it's quite important to put some water into the boiler. I'm doing this with the hand pump, which takes quite a while. Don't forget the Stuart Models HB6 boiler is 6 inches in diameter. After a while I have sufficient water in the boiler to light the burner. And you can light the boiler in two ways, either by lighting it via the hole in the centre flue at the bottom, or by lighting it over the chimney. It's not a good idea to run gas-powered models indoors. First of all I opened the windows, you can see here, and I also opened the front door. While the gas burner is doing its thing and raising steam, it's time for an oiling session. I'm oiling every moving part using lubricating oil. This isn't steam oil, it's a good bit thinner, and both oils are from Hallett's Oils. I find these lubricants to be perfect, and they're the same as you would use on a full-size steam engine. In the past I've always used my own mix of oil, which consists of 50% steam oil, 25% machine oil and 25% rapeseed oil, and this is a great lubricant. But it's a bit on the sticky side, whereas this lubricating oil is a lot cleaner. And it's currently flavour of the month. I use it on every moving part. I've already filled the oil cups with this lubricating oil, but I'm applying a little bit more. It's maybe not necessary, but I always like to get plenty of lubrication on the major moving parts like the big ends and the main bearings. In this clip I'm rotating the flywheel just to feel how slippery everything is, and it feels okay. Time now to drain and refill the displacement lubricator. I'm doing this by opening the valve at the bottom and then opening the steam valve. There isn't much pressure at the moment, but it's enough to push out any condensed water from the valve at the bottom, and when I see oil I realise it's okay. Then I remove the top cap to refill the lubricator and then I replace the cap. It's important to use proper steam oil for this. It's the thick gloopy stuff, not ordinary lubricating oil. Time now to repeat the process on the lubricator fitted to the pump. By the way, the valve in the centre needs to be open one turn. This allows the condensed steam to force just enough oil into the steam line. And as before, when I open the main steam valve, water comes out first from the tap at the bottom, followed by a bit of oil. Then it's time to shut it. Then remove the top cap to refill the lubricator. Even though there isn't much pressure, you do not want to remove the top cap of a lubricator if there's pressure in there, so always make sure that the steam tap is firmly tightened. Here's a top tip if you use gas-fired boilers. I generally use canisters like this or even larger canisters. As the gas evaporates, all tanks will chill, but this one will chill even worse because it's a small can and it's only half full. A simple solution is sit the canister in a bowl like you see here and add some water. This is room temperature water. Even though it's out of the kettle, it is at room temperature, as demonstrated by the fact I've just poured it on my hand. You must never pour hot or boiling water on a gas canister. According to the pressure gauge, there is now 25 pounds per square inch of steam in the boiler. In this clip, I'm opening the valve that allows the steam into the engine. Because the cranks are at 90 degrees to each other, a Twin Victoria is self-starting, and as you see, it's trying to start. but unfortunately the first steam that hits the cylinders turns into water, and this needs to clear. A Stuart Victoria like this does not have drain cocks. My other single Victoria does have drain cocks, and that self-starts from cold OK with the drain cocks open. This twin Victoria just needs a gentle push to clear the condensate from the cylinders. And it's okay to do this because there's only 25 pounds per square inch in the boiler anyway, so any water in the cylinders can push past the slide valve and out to exhaust. It sounds a bit clunky because there's still some water in there, but it will get better as it warms up. What I'm doing here is opening the valve on the condenser to drain the condenser because I don't know what the state of it was after the last run. I'm collecting the water in a small plastic box, as you can see here. Why am I using a small plastic box? Well, no reason really, it's not big enough, I'll have to fill it 2 or 3 times. But here you can see the principle. The engine is running, the back pressure forces the water out, and eventually oil will come out, followed by steam, and when steam comes out of the pipe, the condenser is empty. The pressure's rising, and the whistle sounds quite good. Let's have a look at this wonderful steam pump. This was built by a friend of mine, Mr. Bernard Walker, the late Bernard Walker sadly. He was a great engineer, and he built quite a lot of models like this one. This steam pump is a little bit on the leaky side. As you can see around the air reservoir there's a bit of a leak, and it doesn't work very well. I sold this beautifully made steam pump to the customer from whom I bought the steam plant, and when he first got it the valves were stuck, and unfortunately when he went inside the water chest to unstick the valves, he resealed all the joints using copious amounts of silicone rubber that went everywhere inside the valve chest. I'll sort this out shortly. But for now I'm just playing with the steam plant. I have a hand pump so water feed is no problem at all. With the pump and the engine running, quite a lot of steam comes out of the chimney, and here it is. By the way, the certificate on the notice board was made by my grandson. He doesn't really understand what I do, so he just put steam thing on the certificate. There's more mechanical noise coming from the engine than there was when I first assembled this plant. This is not a problem, I'm going to do some work on the plant anyway. One reason is it's covered in cat hairs and I don't much like this. Why is it on my kitchen table, I hear you ask? Well, it's on the kitchen table because the air conditioning unit, which is also a heater, malfunctioned in the workshop. And the man came to fix it yesterday, so it's okay now. I think I'll try the whistle at a higher pressure. It sounds good and there's only 40 pounds per square inch on the gauge. But now the pressure's gone up, so has the temperature of the boiler. And that's why I'm using a cloth to insulate my fingers from the heat. This video clip is running at 4 times normal speed and you can see that the needle's going in the right direction. I don't like to let these valves blow off very often because they sound horrible. Listen to this. This is the original safety valve that was fitted to the boiler when I received it from Stuart Models to build into this plant. If you watch the video series that I made when I built this plant, it includes an unboxing video. Yes, I'm definitely going to change this safety valve for one that doesn't make a horrible noise like this. That's it for the narration, and I'm just going to play with the steam plant and let it run to the end of the video when I turn the gas off. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. please take the time to visit my Main Steam Models website. Click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you will find it very easy to find other videos that you may like to watch.